up, Mayo Media Network? This is Keith Jamison, go by Gator Guy 231 across the DFS industry, and we are finally at the end. Sad, but also really exciting. Champions League final. My team, Liverpool, is going to be taking on Real Madrid. I think this is a really, really softly priced showdown where you can pretty much fit anything you want. No, you cannot fit in Salah, Benzema, Mane, Diaz, all the top guys, but you can fit in a very good amount where you are going to be able to, kind of storyline the game, decide the outcome you think is going to happen. You think Madrid's going to win 2-0. Well, then you can go ahead and put Benzema, Courtois, Vinny Jr., all those guys together. You think Liverpool's going to win 2-0. You can get multiple attackers. You can get the fullback. You can get Allison. You can do all those things to make your storyline of the game work. And that's going to be the biggest thing to do in GPPs is to pick a scoreline. I think it's going to be 2-1 Liverpool. Okay, who's scoring the goals? Who are getting the assists? Put that together, get the combo right, and you should do quite well. And then in cash, we have some misprices and some just low prices in general. We're going to get all the set pieces that we want and some attackers on top. So excited to go over that for you and just even more excited to catch the game. Just a quick reminder, for more content, make sure that you are subscribed to the Mayo Media Network on YouTube. And if you are on pod feeds, that you are checking out daily fantasy picks and bets to mix. And if you want more of my content throughout the summer, starting to slow down at work a little bit where I can do more content. Had my child, now is a month old, so he's taking less and less attention. At least, not as much, I should say, for me. So just looking forward to more and more content that I can get out. So make sure you follow me at GatorGuy231 on Twitter and my site, Fantasy Sports Insight, on YouTube and Twitter as well. All right, let's get into the game, get into the picks. You can see the graphic. We got 10 picks for you. I really think that in cash, you are using all 6 of these 10 in any sort of combination, depending on how you think the game plays out. I think the biggest thing is at the top. Do you think Liverpool is going to win and score, or do you think Madrid's going to win and score? Because that determines who you're going to take at the top end. If you think it's Liverpool, you're going to go Salah. If you think it's Madrid, you're going to go Benzema. And then filling from there. The 3 locks of the slate, my core plays, should be anybody's core plays that are playing cash, is Toni Kroos, who we'll talk about a little bit more as being a reason that he could be a great GPP fade. But monopoly of set pieces while he's in, we'll go over the fade part, while he's in before he subs out for Madrid. He's way underpriced at 5,200. He's a lock and load in cash. Then you have Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andrew Robertson, who are almost locked for double digits. They cross the ball a ton, split set pieces, are very much part of the attack as fullbacks. Those are the 3 guys that you just lock and load in cash and then fill in from there. All right, let's talk real quick. Let me just jump all the way down. Let me just talk why Toni Kroos. I'm trying to think how I want to do this. Well, we'll talk about why Toni Kroos is a decent GPP fade, and then also just talk about how I think the game's going to go. So the reason that Toni Kroos is a cash lock, but GPP fade is he actually doesn't set up that well for this game in terms of like a real life play. Toni Kroos is not the same Toni Kroos from 5 years ago, or even like 2 years ago. He just doesn't move around that much. I do think that Madrid are going to struggle to have possession. Madrid this season, when they've actually played the best against more talented opposition, not by a ton, but like versus City, versus PSG, what we saw Madrid do was sit back, soak in a ton of pressure, let the crosses come in, let the shots come in. They trust Thibaut Courtois, who's a top 3 goalkeeper in the world. They trust, their center backs. Maybe they shouldn't trust Alba as much, but Eder Militao has been great. Casemiro's there to clean up a lot of mess. They trust the ability to sit back and accept the pressure. And the whole goal is to have Liverpool or whoever the opponent is come forward too much and then get one ball over the top to Vinny Jr. And he and Benzema combine, or just get one opportunity for Benzema, who's been, probably is the Ballon d'Or winner this year, been so clinical in finishing. Just look for these 1 to 2 moments. That's how they're doing. Well, what that means for a guy like Kroos that relies on set pieces, that relies on, fouls drawn, shots assisted, is it doesn't give him as many opportunity for those things. He might only get 2, 3, 4 crosses, might only get a shot assist. But if you add, a few tackles, a few fouls drawn at 5,200, all of a sudden you're looking like 7 to 8 DK points, which is great at that price, especially for cash games. But if they are chasing the game, so let's say it's 1-0 Liverpool in the 60th minute or 65th minute, what's going to happen is Camavinga comes in for Kroos, and Real Madrid just looks completely different. Normally it's Camavinga for Kroos, and then if they're chasing the game, it's Rodrigo for Valverde or Rodrigo for Modric or somebody that just opens the game. It changes the pace. Camavinga and Rodrigo just do incredible runs, are have the ability offensive, just different energy in the team. As of now, the only guy that has like a ton of energy that's running all over the pitches is Valverde, who, speaking of, you'll notice he's not on the list. I think he might end up being very popular because when like the SofaScore formations come out, it's going to show 4-3-3. It's going to show Valverde as a right winger, and he's super cheap. People are going, oh my God, super cheap attacker. He is there for defensive work. He plays that in possession. He will play that wing work. They don't want to give him the ball, though. They want the ball to go to Benzema, Cruz, or Vinny Jr. to do the offensive work. And then when they're out of possession, he sits back in a 4-4-2 and just running the ball all over the place and trying to force again passing lanes, things of that nature. So I don't think he's a great DFS play, but it could work out in GPP as like a cheap punt that could, all it takes is one time for him to get a pass out of the box and there's an assist. And Yahtzee, you're good. So that's how I see the game going. I think it's going to be a lot of pumping crosses. And I think Liverpool, if it's 0-0 at half, there's a really good shot that Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson both had double digits already. If, the only way that they don't get it is if Liverpool gets like a really, really, 1 to 2 goals right away and Klopp decides to take off some of the pressure and he decides to be a little bit more pragmatic. That's not the most Klopp thing to do, but that's the only way I really see that Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson don't go absolutely nuclear. For matchups on the attacking side, I think that in actuality, the best true matchup, like from, like 1-to-1, is Luis Diaz versus Danny Carvajal. Danny Carvajal is getting up there in age, does not have the pace. Luis Diaz, since coming to Liverpool, he did this at Porto, but he just takes guys on. Like he is so aggressive. He's not a winger that's going to pump in 10 crosses, but he loves to cut in, get shots off from distance, just create havoc, draw fouls. And I think his pace is going to be a real problem for Danny Carvajal. On the other side, I know a lot of people are going to just shift to Mo Salah right away, which for good reason. Mo Salah's been amazing the entire year. He's in Ballon d'Or contention as well. Ferdinand Mendy is a hell of a left back, a great, great defensive left back that is not going to pump forward a ton. He knows that on that right side, as Trent Alexander-Arnold is Mo Salah, he needs to be sitting tight and doing a lot of defensive work, especially since a lot of times he's on the same side as Toni Kroos. So he has to account for a lot of that defensive work. So, if I just go in pure matchups, I actually prefer Diaz for DFS to Mo Salah. We'll see if that's a crazy take. It's a really good chance I end up playing them both with all the salary you have. Again, if you do prefer the Madrid side, I think the easy 1-2 is Vinny Jr., Benzema. You don't really need to think too much about that. You can still run Vinny Jr., Benzema, and run it back with Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson. Like that's all very, very correlative, makes a ton of sense. Let's just do one last check on this, see if there's anybody else I mentioned. Oh, for the lineup, so Sadio Mane, a guy that I've talked about a ton. I loved his floor for so long. He's playing almost strictly through the middle when Diaz and Salah are in. So of the front three, he is by far the most goal dependent. If you want floors, you want cash games, you're going to look at the outside. You're going to look at Salah and Diaz versus Mane. And then on the Madrid side, Benzema just produces no matter where he's at, but Vinny Jr. very much on the left side, takes guys on similar way that Diaz does. So he would be your more floor attacking piece for Madrid. All right, that should do it. Went over some, tactics of the game, went over like why, the core plays where they are, how you should plan for GPP. I do think that there's goalies, you're not going to be tricking anybody with goalies. Goalies are going to get a decent amount of ownership, but I would just say be very correlative with your goalies, right? If you're going to play Thibaut Courtois, you don't want to be playing him in the same lineup as Mane or even Salah. If you did a Liverpool attacker, it would probably be Diaz. He can get there easiest without a goal or assist, but you can very much play Alexander-Arnold and Robertson for their floor. If you're playing Alisson, you should not be playing Vinny Jr. and you should not be playing Benzema. Those two at their prices will need a goal or assist to really kind of like break the slate, pay off. You'd be much better off going for Liverpool attackers in that sense. So make sure the lineups make sense. That will help a ton. Enjoy the game. Thank you all so much for all the watches, the supports, the positive messages, all those things throughout the year. I have truly enjoyed my time. I'm once again covering soccer for the Mayo Media Network. Wish you all luck on Saturday. And with that, I'll say, see ya.